Dear God, thank you for today. Thank you for waking us up and giving us the opportunity to expand this energy to make this world a better place, more in line with your will. Thank you for the strength and courage to step out on faith. Thank you for just allowing me to have the desire to be better in your name. I pray that I'm able to diminish myself and my ego so that you can be more greatly seen. I pray that you use me, guide my hands, guide my words, so that your will may be carried out. Thank you for the visions, and thank you for just the ability to step out and bring them into reality. I pray that all those that are in need of your light are able to find it. I pray those that are in the darkness and going against your will find the folly in their ways, and they turn their backs on their current masters and turn towards you. Thank you for just always being there for us and always blessing the road in front of us as you bless the one that we leave behind. In your holy name and by your Son, Jesus Christ, we pray. Amen. What's going on, Tribe Network? Tribe up. So we're just up this morning because, we're up this morning because we have to be, but we're live this morning because this is something I've been wanting to do. I've been wanting to do like more build with me, start with me, more like accountability streams, just to make sure like I'm doing what I have to do and sharing my process and talking through that, about how I get my days going. I had a great day yesterday because of the way I started my day. It just carried out with me for the entire day, and I was able to, get a lot done and move in the right direction. So I felt more confident today. Just go ahead and streaming it and show what that looks like a little bit more. So what I do first in my mornings, the way I like to start is with this little journaling practice. My wife got this for me, the 5-minute journal. Just starts your day with gratitude and just tries to get your vibe laid out and ready for the day. Intentional, directional, ready to go. So today is January 21st. Today's quote: "Who looks outside dreams, who looks inside awakens." Which I love that. I love that because that's like a lot of like when we talk about like people's like morality of their philosophies that like lead their politics or guide their thoughts. It's not about them like looking out to see what's different. It's them needing to look within and be different. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. It rings true within. I don't know if I'm communicating how exactly I feel or think about that, but I like that quote a lot. Things I'm grateful for today. The desire to be better. The partner that my wife is. She's just so good to me, and like we like mesh perfectly sometimes. I mean, like a lot of the time, but it's not really all the time. But it's just like coming home yesterday was so nice, and then going to bed last night, we were just talking, having a lot of fun. So I'm just really grateful for her. She's definitely a reason I'm like in a fun mood. Third thing I'm grateful for this morning: the ability to stream. What would make today great? Being active. Being productive. getting some classwork done while I work. And then what else will make today great? I'm gonna make today a great day, guys. Sometimes it's hard to think of things. Traveling grace. You always pray for some. Make sure you're grateful and make sure you just focus on traveling grace here in Ohio. Sometimes in the winter, that ice get crazy. My daily affirmation: I am a great father. I will achieve the mission. And I will redefine So that's the 5-minute journal. Again, we're just out here. I'm like showing my screen on the camera. Daily quote: who looks outside dreams, who looks inside awakens. Some things you're grateful for today. I'm grateful for the desire to be better, the partner that my wife is, and the ability to stream. What makes it great is being active, with getting like a mile in on the treadmill and just like overall like just kind of being up and down, moving around, being productive, classwork, making it to work, getting some TribeChief network stuff done here, especially early in the morning, and then just traveling grace. So if we can just make it to and from Cincinnati, that'd be awesome today. And then I am a great father. I will achieve the mission, and I will redefine a CEO. Sweet. So that was how I start my day with a journal entry. One of my things that I track, and one of the habits that I'm working on, is that I journal twice a day, once in the morning, once in the evening. So that's nice to kind of like already be on the right foot with that. Is coming with me today because she has doctor's appointments in Cincinnati, so she's traveling with me today. I hope I can make it there, but I don't know if I'll be able to slide away from work at that time or not. Let's see, yesterday was Tuesday. Yesterday was a good day. I need to start like rating my days, tracking how I felt about them. I gave yesterday 7.5. Appointment. I gotta leave here by 10 o'clock this morning. And I got Beach Acres. I got work from 12 to 7. Working on my wake up routine, and then the database is what I'm probably gonna work on right now. Thank you, Golden 578-588. Appreciate it. I definitely had you. Guys, I also have to color code my stuff. motivation behind every little thing you write. Check out in the mornings, because one thing I need to stop doing, one thing I found myself doing is like I'll be on the comment, I'll be like waiting for a comment at work, like I'll be like, just refreshing Instagram, waiting to see what somebody said, and that's not good, that's not healthy. So we're probably gonna delete. Probably just delete the apps, but I also like being on there. I love sending my wife Instagram reels and things like that. So I don't know if I'll do that, but let's get into that. So here's a fun comment. This probably isn't the best thing to do first thing in the morning, but I also just checked. So this is an interesting reply, right? Right here.
ICE's hiring event raises concerns with hasty offers and questionable procedures.
It has a $50,000 sign.
Burge Indeed wrote about her experience in a piece published Tuesday by Slate magazine, headlined, "You've heard about who ICE is recruiting. The truth is far worse. I'm the proof," was the headline. She begins her piece, "The plan was never to become an ICE agent. The plan when I went to the Immigration and Customs Enforcement Career Expo in Texas last August was to learn what it was like to apply to be an ICE agent. Who wouldn't be curious," she said.
$50,000 worth of curiosity. Bro, what other job in America right now? It has a $50,000 sign.
Now explain.
So we're watching this again because somebody just commented, we should believe her. Why? You want us to believe ICE will on the spot hire you? Nonsense. What a bunch of bullshit, right? That's what he's saying, right?
What exactly you did, what this fair was, and then how you applied
We're a
to
comment.
work for
Hey,
ICE and what
engagement.
happened.
So the hiring event, basically you brought your resume in, you handed it over, they were going to do an interview, and they were promising on-the-spot hiring to where you could in fact walk out with your $50,000 bonus that day, possibly. I went in, I handed in my resume, which was, I did a skills-based resume. I'm a veteran, I served 2 tours in Afghanistan. So on the surface, the resume looked pretty good. Had a very brief interview, took all of 6 minutes. They didn't ask very many questions. And then I left, assuming I would never hear back, because I'm a very Googleable person. I have an unusual name. I'm the only Laura Deed on the internet. And I make no secret of how I feel about ICE. And
Bro, you could walk out 50 grand.
Accepted the tentative offer.
That might not be true.
I
It
never
might be
filled
over
out my
like 4 or
background
5
check
years.
paperwork. I never signed the affidavit saying I committed no domestic violence crimes, none of it. A few weeks later, I got a message from LabCorp saying that ICE wanted me to do a drug test, and I went ahead and did that. I was pretty sure I wouldn't pass. I'd partaken in legal cannabis 6 days before the test, but why not waste some of their money, right? And then 9 days after that, I decided I wanted to, I was curious, had they processed the drug test yet? So I logged onto the ICE hiring portal, and what I found was that not only did the drug test not seem to be relevant, I was listed as having joined ICE as of 3 days earlier. I had listed that I had accepted the offer. They had offered me a final position as a deportation officer. My background check was listed as completed 3 days in the future for when I was looking at it. So it seems like the answer to the question, who are they hiring, is they don't know.
So that was that guy's comment. He was like, oh, well, bullshit, right? Which, really, gonna sit here and think about it. Real comment that got my attention this morning was this guy saying less than beta. Let's see what he would respond. They're rewriting history. And one of them was the 1619 project, which goes into like how much of like the African American slave trade or African slave trade really built capitalism in America, right? And me and Jess both like want to listen to that book. But today kind of confirms that I need to go get the Malcolm X book.
Oh yeah.
Because like we have to learn our lessons from Malcolm X, Martin Luther King Jr. And others on how to like really fight back against the government. And like I'm not using fight to mean violence. I mean like put up resistance to the bullshit they're doing.
Yeah.
They're rewriting history. Very beta. I don't know. And one of them was the 1619 project, which goes into like how much of like the African American slave trade or African slave trade really built capitalism in America. Right? And me and Jess both
less
like,
than beta. I don't know what to say to that one. But like if that means that it's opposite of what Andrew Tate is, if less than beta means you were farther away from alpha male Andrew Tate, thank you. That's how I'm taking it. Oh man. So let's look at some numbers real quick. Let's see how some stuff's performing. Need more people to subscribe. Pumping out shorts. Zero views, 20, 161. See if we could just get them all to like that 700, 800. The Great Hopewell did well. That's great. I think we're performing well. We're seeing more interactions. We're seeing more likes. views are going up, and it might take. It's the overnight crowd for me. I don't know if it's California. I don't know, or maybe it's just like when batch views come in. I don't know, but I do better later in the day. It seems like some of these were still at like. Oh, is this? How's this work? This is my date. Okay. Yeah, when I just scroll through this, it feels better. There's still some like fives, which is it's all good. Some just aren't going to perform well, which is fine. But you know, I don't think we're gonna have to when we get the database set, we can really pull data. We're gonna have to see how Opus Clips grade really affects how many views you get. We have to like really see if that's like a true. You know what I mean? Like if the grade is accurate, because it might not be. I mean, it might be, but it also might not be. Thank you. Analytics. I don't want to boost anything. I just want to see analytics. This conversation was interesting. If you guys want me to go through it, just, you know, show up and tell me in chat. But comments are wild, bro. It's fun, though. And I said earlier, I was, like, looking for them. I'm like, oh, is there going to be another one? And, you know, the weak part of that is I get a little nervous because I'm like, oh, I have to, like, make sure my idea stacks up. But, like, that's, like, putting ego on it. I need to stop doing that. We need to just... That's my boy Payne. I need to just be better at like knowing that what I'm saying, like, you know, is God backed, like, you know, on that path. And like, you know, there are times I stumble and fall, and people have to correct me, and you know, I have to be open-minded to that and everything, of course. But when it comes to, especially what the hell are we talking about, there's definitely more information I can have. But the way I'm looking at things, like, I gotta stand on that harder. 29,000 views. Cool. So we're only 29,000 views in 9 days. Take that. What are we averaging a day-ish? What's the average per day? The dip on the 16th. That's good. 7,000. I like seeing 7,000 over here. And as long as it's over 5, I can handle a 6. But it needs to be a healthy 5. 5 would be upsetting. Like, we get like 45, that would be upsetting. Okay, so let's start getting into some real work. Set up this Docker. Thank you, Claude. Happy Wednesday to yourself. Oh, you know what? That was another thing. So, probably a lot of you don't know. I used to do a lot of riding. I used to ride a lot. Me and my wife, we took cross country. We drove old 66 back in 2020 when everything was like falling apart. And during that, I would do a lot of like spoken word writing. I just come off doing music videos, so I was trying to put like a big, after doing Meet in the Side, I was trying to do like a seven acts, not act, but seven writings that flew into like one overall message, like something that was like that same type of scale, but written by me, performed by me, and not because like I want like glory or whatnot, but because like I don't know, I was just trying to say something, trying to say my own words. But I was writing a little bit last night, and I had a lot on my mind because we were watching the ice raids in Minneapolis, and it was crazy. So I'm gonna work on this throughout the day, I think. So I need like that same. I think the thing that like has been driving me to like want to respond to comments is because like when I respond to a comment, I'm like writing something out and I'm making a point. And I'm trying to like I'm trying to like speak and like change a mind and put something on paper and like make a message. And I think like that's the part that like I'd be itching on when it comes to like wanting to respond to comments. I mean, the engagement's good too. Like, part of it's also just like good practice, right? Like as a small content creator. But I think if I can just get into like a creative writing again, I will. It will be easier to stay away from that and kind of cut that urge. Treading on Americans like it's their true pastime. It's only the preseason, and they are murdering mothers in broad daylight. A poet, harmless to the majority at large. Still, a broad few claim to see a domestic terrorist from an incompetent perspective, bolstering the willingness of the most gullible fools, beaten into a position that forces him to do what may be wrong, but is better than being a Democrat. That's not what that last line says. It's actually better than that. But it's better than being on a side that is doomed to fall. So there's still something more that I'm trying to get out of that. Oh, wait, what happened here?
treading on Americans like it's their true pastime. It's only the preseason and they are murdering mothers in broad daylight. A poet, harmless to the majority at large. Still, a loud few claim to see a domestic terrorist from an incompetent perspective, bolstering the willingness of the most gullible fools, beaten into a position that forces him to do what may be wrong, but is better than being on a side that is doomed to fall. They have turned their backs on the working class, no matter a shared divine father, betrayed by manipulated biology that their leaders designed. We start falling off there. Well, there's a point to some of what I'm saying there. So those are some early notes, but what we're really talking about, and I don't know that I like how that talk's the right word. Maybe something we turn. I have an idea of a video that I'll make with this like spoken word underneath of it. Some footage from Minneapolis. We'll see how that goes. In between writing it out and just wanting the words that are in my head to come out the way they are. Because you know it's like how as a
needs a job, right? But if you have to work, why would you choose to work for freaking ICE, man? So he's saying that he wants me just to download this and then have this queue up, just run it. Man, you may just take 500 lines of code from you, Claude? Shit I ain't read before? I don't know how I feel about that. We gotta read it. We gotta at least read it. We have to at least read it.
Time to wake up. so I saved it as something else. Which is my first, like, good reaction. I don't know how to...
I deleted the wrong shit. Trump Hub Network! What's going on, everybody? What's going on, fam?
that the best thing to do? Probably not. Is it what happens a lot? It is.
And finally, Michelle, I wanted to ask you about another topic. 1 month has now passed since Congress's deadline for the Justice Department to release all files on the late convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. But the DOJ says it's made available less than 1% of those files. And you see, many people are saying, is he going after Minneapolis, saying he's going to take Greenland, taking the president of Venezuela and possibly threatening to bomb Iran to take attention away? Could that be it? You see a sensitivity at the Dearborn auto plant when a worker yelled, pedophile protector, and he turned around and gave him the finger and mouthed the words, F you, but said the curse?
Well, it's certainly inconsistent with what were the campaign promises. The campaign promises to those who supported Trump and those who didn't was that the files would be released. All of the files. Now, that's not happened. So, and that's critically important. Now, you've raised, is this all a distraction so that because the files are not being released? Well, it certainly does raise those very important questions, and even more so, the fact that there are victims and survivors out there, and including those who've committed suicide who are no longer with us, such as Virginia Giuffre, and it's a neglect of what was promised. It raises some very serious questions about what remains in the Epstein files, and Americans want to know and deserve to know, and what has been released, and some of which people have been able to undo the redactions of those, is incredibly alarming. It very much is, and it's a travesty because behind it all, what it suggests is that the federal government is unwilling to do what is necessary in order to protect young people from sexual violence, and that's, at the end of the day, that's what this truly is about.
Michelle Goodwin, I want to thank you for being with us, Professor of Constitutional Law and Global Health Policy at Georgetown University. Next up, thousands.
I definitely think it's on the pro side of like all the shit that they got going on. They're definitely like, ooh. And guess what else? Can't talk about Jeffrey Epstein if they're getting murdered on the streets. Being murdered on the streets, they can't debate the Epstein files. through successfully. That's a great sign. So I know in MySQL you need to have drop tables.
was this tweet from this Anthropic engineer about a month ago that said software engineering was going to be over by the first half of 2026, which would be scary, except that 6 months before that, the CEO of Anthropic said that 90% of code was going to be written by AI and we weren't going to need any software engineers within the next 6 months, which would be even scarier, except that a few months before that, the CEO of NVIDIA, Jensen Huang, said that nobody was going to need to learn to code anymore because of AI. Quoting this absolutely phenomenal tweet, software engineering has been within 6 months of being dead continually since early 2023. As a software engineer, this obviously begs the question, what the fuck? Is my job being taken over by AI or not? And if you're not already in the field, you might be thinking, is it too late for me to get into this field? Is it too late for me to learn to code? So I'm gonna try to answer these questions in this video, but I'm gonna preface this whole thing by saying I'm a programmer, not a magician. Meaning I am someone who's been in this field for a number of years. I do understand the underlying technology, but I'm not gonna be able to predict with 100% accuracy what happens to software engineering or other programming jobs. And the reason for that, first of all, is this isn't a fully technical question. People are really focused on whether AI is good enough to replace programmers, but that's only half of the equation. Consider a world where AI-generated code, or vibe code as a lot of you guys call it, didn't really work. Like, let's say it didn't really ever compile. Maybe it only compiled 5% of the time. There would still be nothing stopping leaders from firing all the programmers, letting the AI at it, and just crossing their fingers and hoping it all works for the best. Of course, that's not the state of AI coding these days. AI coding is getting really good. Everybody and their mother is making an app with Lovable or Bolt or Replit. Even many experienced programmers, including myself, are using AI in their day-to-day work. But I just give this hypothetical to explain that this is a 50% technical problem and a 50% people problem. And there's really no good way for me to answer the people problem definitively. So because of that, I think the best way to look at this problem is in terms of a spectrum of risk. Now, on one side of the spectrum, we have AI fully automates every single technical job, and there's no jobs left for us. Now, I don't think that's gonna happen. I think if that did happen, it would also take every single desk job in the entire economy, crash the economy, and at that point, it also probably doesn't matter if you learned code or became an accountant because society has collapsed. And then on the other side of the spectrum, we have AI for coding doesn't get much better than it currently is now. Companies also decide they don't want to embrace it any more than they already have, and programming jobs for that reason are completely safe. Now, I think most of us can probably agree that the truth lies somewhere between those two extremes on the spectrum. So I want to go through two different options of how I can see this actually playing out, both of which are more in the middle of the spectrum. The first is that AI might continue to get better, and a lot of the day-to-day work that programmers do, like writing out a for loop, might get permanently delegated to an AI. But instead of getting rid of the job of programmer might just fundamentally change. This is what I'm already starting to see in my job as a software engineer, where I am letting the AI start to do a lot of the grunt work, like writing out a unit test, like setting up all the boilerplate in a file, even writing out the specific business logic if I can explain that business logic in plain English. But I'm still the one making high-level decisions about how we're building something, and I'm still the one debugging when something breaks, which unfortunately does happen regardless of whether I'm vibe coding or not. And this is sort of the whole argument about why the junior market is drying up for programmers, but the senior staff plus market is still going strong. Right now, we associate being able to debug something across a complicated system or make a decision about what framework to use as more of like a senior skill. But it's possible that might not always be the case. With AI, it is easier to pick up some of these skills, and if junior devs aren't spending 8 hours of their day learning about esoteric syntax patterns of Rust, maybe they'll be able to pick up these other skills a little bit faster. So one of the outcomes of AI coding becoming so prevalent might be that coders as a job still exist, but the main attribute of that job is no longer coding. Now, before I tell you my second possible prediction for the coding job market, I want to pause and answer the question of, is it specifically worth it to learn to code if the job market of the future might be less focused on the act of coding?
Yes.
Like I was saying before, diving deep into esoteric parts of coding syntax is probably not the best use of your time. But at the end of the day, it's hard to build up other technical skills if you don't have the foundation of coding. Coding is what everything else is built on top of, so it's going to come in handy for a lot of technical work. And just to give a very concrete example, if you need to know how to debug, like I was explaining before, to debug is to know what's wrong with the code. And to know what's wrong with the code, you have to understand what the code is doing in the first place. So yes, I really do recommend specifically learning to code. And the best way to learn to do that, if you're new to coding, is picking a popular programming language and learning how to build something with it. If you don't know which language to pick, I recommend Python. It's pretty beginner friendly. It's been picked pretty consistently as one of the top programming languages for developers, and it's become the de facto language for a lot of ML and AI projects, which these days is a lot of projects. And if you do decide to learn Python in 2026, I highly recommend DataCamp. It's one of the most hands-on ways to actually build your programming skills. Their Python programming fundamentals track is perfect if you're just starting out. You'll go from the absolute basics like variables and data types to writing out custom functions and working with packages. What I love is every lesson is interactive and you get to apply your knowledge right away with real coding projects. And for those of you aiming to become job ready as a software engineer or developer, the Associate Python Developer track dives even deeper, covering concepts like object-oriented programming, regular expressions, decorators, and even real-world projects like web scraping and file management apps. So if you want to master Python to build AI applications and jumpstart your programming career, check out the links in the description. Now, getting back to that second possibility about what might happen to programmers, I want to warn you guys, this one's a little bit more woo-woo, a little bit more out there. But there might be an outcome where the job of software engineer is replaced with a totally different technical role. So in this situation, AI would be replacing a lot of what it means to be a software engineer, including these more complex pieces of it, like debugging. Which I know AI can debug now, but it's not always amazing at it, and you'll know that if you've ever been stuck in one of those vibe coding loops that's like, it's broken, please fix it. You're absolutely right, it is broken, I have fixed it. It is not fixed, please fix it. You're absolutely right, I did not fix it, but now I have fixed it. It's still not fixed. You get the point. But even in the case where AI is really good at debugging, it can take over a lot of aspects of software engineering where the industry looks totally different. I still think there will be technical roles that need to be filled. Now, what these roles actually are, I think might look very different from the roles we have today of software engineer, data scientist, product manager. It might be the primary technical role here is like overseeing a team of AI agents or figuring out and investigating when things aren't working correctly and the AI agents aren't building what they're supposed to be building. It might be that the next big role is the people that are setting up these AI systems and that use their expertise to advise on the best way for companies to set up AI workflows. Listen, don't quote me on any of this. This is all theoretical, but there's two reasons I think this might be the place we end up. The first is coming back to the people problem of all this. I think a lot of decision makers really want a human to tell them what to do. Even if all of the above can be automated, people really want another human guiding them in the right direction for these really important decisions. The second thing is that all we know for sure right now is that the future is computers. The future is more investments in AI, more investments in technology at large. So it kind of just makes sense to me that if any new jobs are created out of all of these technological breakthroughs, the new jobs are going to be in the tech industry. Now, I can't tell you what the exact qualifications of these jobs are going to be because they don't exist. But regardless of what the impact is of AI on programming, I do genuinely think that there are going to be some technical roles doing something. Now, if you are very attached to your job specifically being writing out lines of code by hand, then yeah, I think at this point it is probably too risky to try to pursue that specific day-to-day job. But if you do feel like you can be flexible, if you feel like you'd be willing to pivot what your actual day-to-day work looks like down the line, as long as it's something technical, then I do think it is worth it to pursue a career in programming right now. Now, how do you prepare for a technical career like that? First, I think it's definitely worth it to stay up to date with the latest tech and AI research, at least just like at a high level, because that way you can know where the industry is heading. I also think it's worth it to learn more quickly these skills that have traditionally been considered more senior, such as debugging a really big system or system design overall, because I think that those things might come in handy earlier into your career. And finally, as I mentioned before, I do think it's worth it to learn to code to have that fundamental understanding of the technology. So I hope this video smooths out some fears about where the tech industry is heading and hopefully didn't introduce too many new ones. If you want to learn to code, if you want to come join me over in the tech industry, come on over. We can go down in flames together. Just kidding. Probably.
Patrick but David. Incredible work, man. Every outlet is like this. What are we doing?
Jim, the nightclub is called Vendome. This is it right behind me. It says that it is closed right now, but its website establishes that it will be open to the public tonight. Now, we're not going to show you the video of what happened here. Instead, you're going to see still pictures of individuals partying to an anti-Semitic song. These are the images of the controversy. Individuals...
Bro. Like, I'm so conflicted on this because, like, these guys, but, like, the way that they're covering this is so silly, bro. Just show the video. Like, what do you mean? Like, you're making... Oh, come on. It's just like... If you're not gonna show the song, then, like, I don't know, show the video muted. Like, what are we doing?
Partying to an offensive song whose lyrics say Hail Hitler. The song by rapper Kanye West is banned in Germany, and major music platforms in America took steps to remove or ban it due to its messaging. It happened on Saturday at Vendome nightclub on Washington Avenue.
Let me be very clear. There is no place in Miami-Dade for anti-Semitism, Nazi rhetoric, or hate of any kind.
Miami-Dade Mayor Daniela Levine Cava wants to get to the root of the issue.
What matters now is accountability and making sure this never happens again.
All right, let's get back to this now.
Started the moment the individuals were allowed in the venue.
Owners of other clubs reach out to me and say that they know they try to get in and they don't allow it. So I'd like to know how they got in. They seem to be having a great time celebrating together. DJ plays the music.
The nightclub issued a statement saying the venue and hospitality group do not condone anti-Semitism, hate speech, or prejudice of any kind. They also said, we are currently conducting an internal review to understand the circumstances surrounding how this requested song came to be played during a bottle parade, and we will take immediate action to hold the responsible parties accountable. One of the men who attended the club addressed the issue on X.
Who are you saying sorry for? You literally played music that we requested.
We also reached out to Andrew Tate, another of the men who attended the club. We received no response. CBS News Miami just spoke with Evan Field, who says he was at Vendome Club the night of the controversy.
It was a little bit odd. He played the song, and it was just, people were kind of giving him weird looks, you know, and it was just a weird vibe. You know?
And elected officials want to know if management of the nightclub is aware of any songs played by the DJ, especially those requested by the public, and that should be part of the...
What kind of investigation are they conducting into this nightclub? Like, yeah, they're losers, man. They're losers. They're weirdos. That's, you know, I mean, I guess I'm glad that woke is back, right? Check the next vid. Andrew Tate folded.
Investigation. We are live.
Andrew Tate responds after being dragged for Yay nightclub.
Living in a world now where only shock value seems to get anybody's attention for any significant period of time because everyone's dopamine receptors are completely fried. So all of these young influencers...
Oh my God, he's so washed, bro. Oh my God. A short clip of Andrew Tate 6 hours ago, only 1,200 views, is so cooked. It's so cooked. Back in the day, Andrew Tate, like an Andrew Tate interview, God damn, you would have gotten like... You would have gotten tens of thousands. The top G stands for top goy. Yo, this account said, you're not even a real bro. This is one of those like neo-Nazi accounts that like now I think hates Nick Fuentes. Oh, that's awesome. Andrew Tate folds under zero pressure instantly. Embarrassing. That's so fire. Top G stands for top goy.
I didn't play it. I didn't ask him to play it. I didn't dance. I didn't sing. In fact, the only time you see me...
Oh, oof, oof. Oof, what happened, bro? I thought y'all were based.
On there is me storming out of the bus, saying this is ridiculous and leaving.
You just created a million Andrew Tates.
But I know why it was played. It was played because of this. It was played because it gets traction in a world where everybody is bored of everything all of the time. And that's why these young people are encouraged constantly to try and do the most shocking.
They're bored because we think we don't, like, we're bored because we don't take on the responsibility. There's plenty of work that needs to be done. Everyone thinks work is some sort of bad thing. Work is some sort of punishment. Work isn't fun. But work is what needs to be done. And work is what we need to do, put our time in. What is work? Fixing our communities. Standing up against injustices. Getting to a point where we can actually make society better than we, like, first came into it. And, like, to say that they're fascist because they're bored. Although for some reason it feels like it could ring true. What the fuck does that even mean? What does that lead to? Like, what does that mean? What is the outcome of that, if that is true?
Thing possible. You see this not just with this song, you see this on all their streams. They're running people over and doing retarded shit constantly. So I'm not here to make it.
Wow, these guys are badass, dude. Sitting at a poker table, smoking cigars. How do you live in an environment that looks AI created? Like, this is giving AI slop. And it's just, I know it's in the real world. You know what I mean? These look like they exist in an Alec Monopoly painting at every moment in their lives. Is the gay chess dungeon? What the man?
Myself. I'm not here to say it wasn't me. I'm not here to, blame someone else. But it is kind of ridiculous. It does feel a bit unfair that I'm standing in a nightclub. A song comes on that I did not request. A song comes on that I do.
Dog, you're a 40-year-old who recently got his ass beat very publicly, going to a nightclub with a 19-year-old and playing Heil Hitler by Kanye West. Listen, I don't know what sequence of events that unfolded in your life that got you to this position that you're at now, but if I even got to the first stage of how you arrived here, I would have myself a long time ago, okay? I would have spared everybody else the trouble. It would have been over for me. I would have been like, all right, it's fine. I mean, I think there's more honor in this circumstance than being whatever this is, okay? And complaining. And then just complaining about it.
I do not dance to. I do not repeat the lyrics to. I just stand there.
Oh, I wasn't even dancing. Oh, that's awesome. That's dope.
Somehow the song playing to me and it all being my fault. I didn't play it. I didn't ask him to play it. I didn't dance.
He acts like he's not part of their group. Remember when Andrew Tate wanted to bring the Nazi salute back?
My heart goes out to all of you.
Wait, he didn't even go full. Bro, he couldn't even do the full, clasping of the fingers. Oh my God. You're a pussy. Elon Musk did a better say Heil than you, pussy.
My heart goes out to all of you. I'm kind of thinking we should bring the Nazi salute back. Because the people we've been arguing with for the last 4 years have no interest in objective truth.
Okay, never mind. He hits it after. He hits it 3 times. Andrew, put them titties away, slut. Wow, you're so based. You're so edgy, Andrew. You're so edgy. You're 40 years old, man.
Hail SpaceX!
Tristan looks uncomfortable.
Watch the video, Andrew, with you.
Dude, that's so funny. Everyone is... Dude, are these guys all the people that are clowning on him, are they all like groypers? Is that what it is? Are the groypers canceling Andrew Tate? Are the groypers canceling Andrew Tate? After he got pressed by Patrick Bet-David?
When I watched
Israel's strongest warrior who is not Israeli himself, even though I thought he was initially.
The video, Andrew, with you and them, Tristan looks extremely uncomfortable.
It's because they're 40 years old and they're actually properly read and educated. Like, you know, they're egomaniacs, and they, like, I don't think we agree with the core philosophy and, like, what a better world would look like. And, like, you know, I don't give a if I ever drive a Bugatti. But, like, this is, like, what used to always be prevalent, you know, more so back in the day. But the reason of, you know, these 40-year-old men are awkward is because they know what, like, a Nazi is. They understand the ramifications. And where they, like, were born at in Europe. They, like, the war, like, the negative negative outcomes of war were felt more by, like, their fathers and grandfathers because they are from Europe. So of course they feel more awkward saying Heil Hitler when maybe they weren't Jewish, but, like, their cities were still bombed and razed, and, like, you know, people they know were, like, negatively impacted in the economy. Like, you know, like, people had to grow up near that economy. Like, their grandparents, their parents had to feel the economic and social impact of, like, being in a war-torn section of the world. So of course they can't say Heil Hitler because they understand, like, how big of a villain he really was, and they don't want to touch that. They don't want to be that big of a villain. They just want to be perceived as a villain. They just want all the villain benefits. They want to be able to do whatever they want, benefit from whatever they want, be greedy, use people, manipulate people without consequence because that's what you expect from them. But they don't want the negative ramifications of everyone looking at them like they're fucking evil or treating them like they're monsters. It's that little needle. It's a real thin needle. They're trying to...
Patrick but David. Oh my lord. Stop.
And they are.
Andrew Tate says Sneeko has crybaby issues and explains why he met up with Nick Fuentes at Clavicular. Clavicular talks shit about Tate saying he fell off and can't fight for shit.
A leader, and they are, like, looking up to you. So it's not like
think a
you're
20-year-old
choosing
crowd,
to be like, yo, I'm in charge of you guys.
This kid shouldn't be in the club. He's 20. That's another conversation.
Yeah.
He's meeting you for the first time. You're his idol.
I understand the point you're making, and you know what? Sneeko has insulted me endless times, especially across the last 4 years. I haven't seen him in years and years and years. But maybe, you know, maybe it's the man code in me. You know, he's insulted me so many times.
Or maybe you're a 40-year-old who is so desperate to hang on to a crumb of clout that you literally hung out with a bunch of younger losers to maintain your relevance. Maybe that's the reason. And not because you're a big bad guy.
They're cross-pollinating.
You know, it's the man code in me. That's why I hung out with a bunch of people that talked a bunch of shit about me over the years. Even though they're 20 years younger than me. I love when these guys always have to reframe everything as though it's like hyper masculine too. Yes, I bake. It's not gay. It's basically chemistry. Excuse me. The kitchen is basically my laboratory. I'm filled with testosterone. It's like, just say you bake, man. Who gives a... Like, it is infinitely weirder that you have made this, like, such a big deal. You already chose to hang out with these losers. Also, Miami club owners who vowed to probe the Nick Fuentes Nazi night out revealed to have partied with the far-right revelers instead. Oh, they're cooking their asses, bro. Oh my God, they're cooking their asses. Also, this is what happens when, like, the peak of your anti-Israel commentary starts and ends with just talking shit about Jews and just saying Adolf Hitler was awesome. Like, yeah, no shit, people are gonna be like, this is ridiculous, this is completely unacceptable. You're a moron. And the same goes for, like, Nick Fuentes fans too, that just think that this is how you earnestly criticize Israel. Else is entertaining goy slop. Me, on the other hand, I'm base maxing. You are the one making it a big deal by talking about it, by the way. Who cares about this dumbass does? No one cares. Arrest him and be done with it. Wait, arrest him for what? For his actual crimes? Well, I'll have you know, chatter, the American government actually made sure that he was never going to get arrested in Romania for his actual crimes, so... Unfortunately for us, and for the rule of law, it is a bad day. Yeah, Barron Trump freedom. Barron Trump did a school walkout to free Andrew Tate. Oh, that's awesome. He always does this thing. He says, I'm not going to make excuses like I didn't request that song or that my opponent had more reach. I could say that, but I'm not going to do it because I'm a man. And it's like, you're doing it. Everybody knows you're doing it. Yeah, Taylor doing clavicular speak is the funniest. Clavicular was trying his hardest not to let his cortisol spike after jesters tried pressing him, so he had to calm down by rizzing a girl. Except that's not even, I just realized that's just the title of the clavicular updates clip.
Me don't mean. You like the white version of Canelo Joseph. But this version with the Jack 40.
Come on, y'all get on, man.
What the fuck is he talking about, bro?
Come on, yo.
Yo, stop pressing my mans, dude.
You like the white version of Canelo Joseph.
Switch on.
He's right there. Yo, he's gonna shine his flashlight at you. Calm down.
Hey, brother, I'm gonna ask you a big favor. Please just go home. Nobody wants you here.
Bro, you can. They're too bro. Fuck these guys, bro.
Bro really let his cortisol hit him like a truck.
Yeah, I mean, we mug all of them.
We mug all of them. What is happening, bro? Yo, this country is over, okay? I'm sorry. America is fucking over. It's done. It's done. Throw it in the trash, dude. This is the next gen. This is what they're doing. Yo, is Mog Eat Mog World out there, big dog? You already know. We mog them. We mog all of them. Yo, they jesters, bro. China graduated 1.3 million engineers last year. 1.3. The number of engineers that graduated in the United States of America was 130,000. Okay? It's over. It's been over, and people don't understand how over it actually is. 1.3 million engineers graduated in China. 130,000 graduated in the United States of America. I'm willing to bet a big chunk of them were also Chinese engineers that were going to school in the United States of America. Okay? This is the Mog-off. It's so fucking funny. Oh yeah, this is my favorite clip. Are you kidding me? Clavicular got mogged by another looks maxer and his cortisol levels went to the moon. Bro was rage baiting Clav until he completely crashed out. You can't just go around saying these things and expect things to go well for you. Why are you pressing me for no reason, bro? Clav stress homer spiked so hard, he turned to a different person.
Are you fucking retarded?
The Den a couple weeks ago.
The Den?
Yeah.
Motherfucker, I've never had a table in my life at the Den.
Yeah, you have, bro. We're fucking there.
Motherfucker, I've been at other people's tables. I've never had.
When a true Adam comes in and mogs my favorite mogger.
The table in my
Okay, it was
life.
your fucking friend's table, man.
Listen to me. If you think I've ever, yeah, if you think
You
I've
wouldn't
ever,
press me. I didn't do shit.
if you think I would ever,
Why are they all wearing polo tees?
Because they're dickheads. They're frat bros.
Is that like,
The
is
final
that the new
evolution of
meta?
frat bro.
Are all the moggers wearing polo tees? Is that the mog? Is that how you mog?
Abercrombie and Fitch, bro.
Heated rivalry. Makes you mog harder.
ever do some shit like that, dude, that is not a good.
I'm not doing
You
shit.
can't walk around saying.
All right, so just to recap on this side of things, we got our database, I don't know, like a foundation done. We're moving on to building an API. I gotta do this. I'm gonna do that I need to get on the treadmill, so I gotta go downstairs. I gotta grab shoes. We're gonna grab another cup of coffee. You're gonna stay with me on stream when I do that part.
Shit like that. Get it out of the way. Listen to me. You can't just go around saying things and expect things to go well for you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, I know you think we do live streaming, but I'm high as fuck. I don't give a shit.
What are you high off, Coke?
I'm high off fucking ketamine. So if you think I give a
Fuck. A hell of a thing to admit, bro.
Oh, that clip always does it for me, man. I'm high on fucking ketamine.
That's crazy. That's crazy work.
Oh.
That's crazy work.
Oh, man.
Fuck about the live stream? I don't. I'm telling you. All right.
Why are you linking Graham for Maine? Does Graham Plattner have a statement about clavicular? Because if not, I don't want to hear it. Actually, what is Clavicular's opinion on Graham Plattner? Does he think Graham Plattner is base for having a Totenkopf tattoo on his chest? Or is he jester for deleting it? Is Graham Plattner mogging people? Is Graham Plattner mogging Pills Mafia? Janet Mills? These are the questions that I have on my mind. I need to obviously dumb down the rhetoric, and many of you have been saying, like, hey, if you want to retain a younger audience and you know, pill them on socialism, you just got to speak their language, and I'm doing it right now. Yeah, Graham Plattner is basically like a PSL4, if we're being honest. He's like a low-tier normie for the most part, but honestly, because politics is jester maxing, I would go so far as to say that most politicians in general never reach above a PSL3. So he's actually above and beyond. He's a cut above. So of course my votes are going to go for Graham Plattner over Janet Mills, aka Pills Mafia. Hassan Zoomer, I understand like only half of these words. What the fuck is jester maxing? I feel like this is not even Zoomers. This is a Gen Alpha. Yeah. For the longest time, a lot of people were saying Zog, which is obviously anti-Semitic, you know, Zionist-occupied government, but actually it's Mog. It's Mogger-occupied government now. Once we get a bunch of true atoms up in there, everything's going to be a lot better. There's going to be a halo effect. You actually don't even need to spend any money on Secret Service because obviously the halo effect stops people from wanting to assassinate you. It's a known fact. That's why Charlie Kirk was assassinated, because he was ugly. That is literally what he said, by the way. That is what this man right here said. Charlie Kirk was assassinated because he wasn't mogging. There's a video of it. It went viral. I watched it on the stream.
So don't fucking go around making these accusations. You know what I mean? It's not a good idea. It's not a good fucking idea. All right,
what are you doing, bro? Why are you pressing me for no reason, bro?
I'm pressing you for making a retarded accusation. Are you fucking...
That's why Fidel didn't get assassinated. People's halo, not vest. I know. Fidel Castro was a mogger. Another mogging angle. They're doing red Vienna green architecture on affordable apartments. We got clavicular. Okay, stop it. Stop it. Stop it with this shit. Okay, I don't want to see that right now. I'm talking about American century of humiliation. You don't have to show me Chinese century of prosperity. Please look at this clip of clavicular putting 10-10 Riz game to pick up this Stacy. Awkward moment. Clav tried to drop some game on this girl and asked her to come back to his, but she rejected him by saying she needs pizza. Ugh.
You got some sets on you. What, am I taking you home or what? I need pizza!
What the fuck? Bro. Drunkenly, as a 19-year-old, drunkenly going to the nightclub and walking up to random women like, should I be taking you home or what? What's the word/phrase you say instead of the R word? Forgot what it was. Troglodyte. Trog for short. You got some tits on you is dropping games these... Wait, that's what he said?
You got some tits on you.
He said you got some tits on you. Bold. Bold. Brave. Straight to the point. Do you even care that you mogged them all? No, I do not. I do not care. I can't believe it. That is unbelievable, dude. Oh my God. What the fuck? He's like a deeply unsocialized dog. Dude, someone like an older adult needs to, not Andrew Tate, needs to educate this person. Okay, he's still 19. He can still change. But he's not making it to his mid-20s if he keeps this shit up. God, COVID did a number on America's youth, I swear. Is this a normal thing people do now? I don't think so. You got some tits on you. Oh, Jesus Christ. Chad just don't want to waste time and money with the dating. Yeah, exactly. As in, he is never going on a date. What is this? You're giving me flashbacks to this clip?
Chatters who keep saying Gorbachev is dead. Unless Gorbachev died from having a fucking insane erection after trying to fuck Addison Rae's mom, okay? I do not care about it at this moment. We will get to it later, okay? Did he die because he wanted to fuck Addison Rae's mom and then all of a sudden the boner killed him? No? Then I don't care.
To a boxing match. And I kind of love how TikTok boxing matches have become the norm for two people to settle any sort of...
He's out of the group already. They hate him. Oh my God, we're following. Bro's in a room with Andrew Tate, Nick Fuentes, Tristan Tate, Myron, etc., and is distracted by a random hoe. This is why controlling lust is important. This is why I can't even say these guys are gay. Cause like this is something different. You know what I mean? Like I can't even jokingly say this is gay. I haven't been able to figure out what this thing that I'm looking at actually is. They are definitely ace though. Like, yeah, this is gay 2.0. This is something different. It's not even gay. Like, I don't know. Ranked misogyny. What is this? Look, I don't know. Look, I know this is serious stuff, but I don't know what you just said. I don't speak Spanish. Is hilarious. Wait, what?
Hi. You have any questions?
I asked if y'all got a warrant and if I could see it. He said no.
So because you're not related to this person, we don't have to
Okay, well, I'm here to just observe. I have within my right to do so.
But all that noise, all that stuff like that, you impeding.
I don't speak Spanish.
I'm not speaking Spanish.
I just heard your Spanish accent. I don't know what you said. You're speaking entirely.
Not saying anything. I'm not making a comment about what I saw. That is, God damn, dude. What is America, brother? What the fuck is going on? This is what I was talking about earlier. It's like everything is wrong. Everything that we've learned is just upside down, okay? You got dudes with accents that are supposed to be like making America more white, which is such a weird concept in and of itself. And they're like harassing and sometimes arresting like white people. Like, I don't even know, like, what is fucking happening? I don't understand. Like, back in the day, I feel like racism was more black and white, you know? It was more simple. American fascism in 2026 is so fucking diverse, dude. It's such a strange phenomena where it's like we have actually abolished the social construct of race. How is that possible? The people who join ICE are going to be broke with that 50K bonus, not just racist. I mean, they're definitely still pretty fucking racist. Come on, dude. Oh my God. Is fascism woke? I mean, fascism low-key is more woke than, I don't know, like a random fucking DSA meeting, actually, when you think about it. Brother, we just looked at, what's his face? We were looking at like the clavicular clips and shit. And the entire incident started because of this like, nightclub outing where Andrew Tate decided to shit on everybody else that he was with, even though he's a fucking 40-year-old man who has destroyed his own career after having this moment in the spotlight. Got his ass beat. Now he's a 40-year-old sex trafficker hanging out with like 19-year-olds, right? And should be embarrassed by that, but instead is just like throwing them under the bus somehow. But that entire fucking group is so goddamn diverse, okay? I said this in my podcast last month, but I do think Clavicular is ascendant because he's at the nexus of a lot of reactionary online trends. He's extremely young and it's a very unstable life though, and I could just as easily see an early tragic end to his story. Yeah, no, for sure. Mr. Beast predicts Looksmaxter Clavicular will become the next big streamer.
All right, who do I think will be like the... I mean, the problem is it would make no sense to invest in Speed because Speed's already fucking huge, right? So, you can't get much bigger than that. I would need to invest in someone smaller so I can get some upside, right?
So like the upcoming streamers or content creators.
Let me think.
This also says a lot about what the fuck Mr. Beast is looking at. You know his ass is constantly on Twitter, bro. Like, because if you ask like I don't know, someone who spends most of their time on like YouTube or whatever, they would not know who the fuck clavicular is. I know for a fact that that's the case, by the way, because I love talking about the latest and greatest of brain rot, and I bring it up around people all the fucking time, including but not limited to clavicular, people like that, and everyone looks at me like they have no fucking clue what I'm talking about. They get offended, okay? So you have to be totally on Twitter all the fucking time to know who the fuck clavicular is. No, I'm sorry, I'm not learning about a new guy named clavicular. I have got to draw the line somewhere. I have learned about so many guys already, and every single one has added less to my life than the last. I am at capacity. I've been perilously close to on several occasions learning about a creature by the name of Sneeko, but my evasive maneuvers have thus far been successful. I need to hold fast on this one. This far, but no further. There's too many weird guys out there, man. It's awesome. You will learn about clavicular and you will like it. I mean, that's kind of my attitude about it. I do actually teach people about clavicular all the time, like adults, content creators, because this is a fascinating fucking. I feel like I'm Jane Goodall looking at these apes in the wild. Like, what the fuck is this? Yo, Nick, I'm gonna bring some girls over. Fuentes, nah, I'm good. Nick Fuentes is gay though. Like, he definitely does want to. He definitely wants to fuck clavicular. We've seen that. Which, by the way, would be probably a inappropriate age gap relationship if we're being honest. Because clavicular is 19, and I think Nick is like now, despite looking like a tiny little man who looks like he's maybe in his 20s, even though he wears a suit all the time. He's I think like 28 or something. So he's getting up there, almost a 10-year age gap. So yeah, what is this? Instant classic. Dua Lipa is Albanian. Beating her at drinking with beating a Mexican at boxing, out-tricking a Brazilian at soccer, shooting at kids against Israeli. Oh, I need some Dua Lipa's luck because what do you mean she split the G on her first try? First of all, it's not that difficult to split the G. What the fuck are these people talking? God. Yes, it is. Bitch, I split the G my first try too. Nobody's making videos about me. I tried so many times. Oh my God. Get her on the stream. Dua Lipa. I would love to get Dua Lipa on the stream. I mean, she's amazing. Really. She is perfect. You're just trying to tear down proud Albanians? Bitch, I'm a proud Albanian. What do you mean? Rah! Albania mentioned. The world is Albania. Are you fucking kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me, dude? Are you fucking... Don't make me do it again. Don't make me fucking do it again. We are all Albanians when dua is mentioned. Yes, I make a dua every day, okay? Every day, I do the dua. That means prayer, chatters. Clavicular mocked Andrew Tate by doing this.
Wait, can I play a song for you?
I mean, he's a child. At least, like, his excuse is that he's literally a child and kind of dumb, right? Andrew Tate is 40. Between Albania and China, there are over 1.4 billion communists. Yeah, back in Enver Hoxha's day, but not anymore. Albanians are no longer communists. Brother, you can't be white, Chinese, Turkish, Albanian, and Mexican. Pick one. Yeah, I'm Chinese, bro. I already picked it. Which automatically makes me Albanian. Just like Enver Hoxha once famously said, between us and Albania and China, we are 1.4 billion communists in the world, you know? It's true. Bunker communism. Albania truth nuke. This is NATO's military spending. Albania and the USA make up 66.3%. Rah! That's a trook. Yes. Oh, fuck. Being Chinese also automatically makes you Mexican. That's just factual. True. Question, ain't the kid like 19? Is he just allowed to get intoxicated live on camera like that? Bro, he does meth. Like, first of all, he's streaming on Kick. There are no rules on Kick. And you know, maybe some rules on Twitch, but no rules on Kick whatsoever. Not only does he fucking smoke meth, he promotes the fact that he smokes meth. And not only does he do that, sometimes he'll literally inject himself with like fat burners on camera, and also does the same to his underage girlfriend, who is 17 years old. Yes. So the answer is he does all of that. So getting drunk is actually probably the closest to like whatever you could consider to be legal or normal.
Oh wait, can I play a song for you?
I'm obsessed with this man. I hope he never stops posting. Stale response to Moise. What the fuck? Implies other mods do similar / worse. Wait, what?
People who are looking at me in horror or laughter or pity should ask themselves what that says about the $50 billion platform that...
What is this background, bro? He did the KFC double down. What? Oh, he's mogging. He's mogging. He's wearing a polo shirt, just like my man Clav. He's wearing a polo shirt because he's fucking mogging, dude. We learned about that. He's chud maxing. It's a totally different meta. A lot of you guys don't have to understand he's chud maxing.
It is Reddit. Take every insult that you have against me about how I'm incompetent, about how I'm biased, egotistical, power hungry, etc., all that, and ask yourself, how does that make you feel about Reddit, knowing that I was able to control one of the top subreddits on the platform for over a year?
Bro, no one can. Oh my god.
Thank
Oh my god. He's like trying to farm this shit, huh? Make that next video a green screen. I want to see the Reddit mod dungeon. Actual Reddit moderator moment. And then he pressed post again. We all know it's 14 terabytes. By the way, remember that other guy that was like, oh, you're a lolcat, by the way. This is exactly the type of dude that says shit like that. That's part of the reason why I wanted to look into his to the other person's background. This is him. Like the guy who, you know, ended his entire fucking YouTube account and his entire Twitch account when I started making fun of him. It's this guy. These are the guys. Which kind of goes back to the point I was making with the other chatter who was like, oh, you know, sometimes I get bullied at school. Like, did you ever get bullied at school? How did you deal with it? Just understand that this is the guy that's bullying you. It is entirely up to you to take that seriously or not. Did you see Wubby talked on Discord that a new head mod after this? He did.
With borderline dictatorial powers doing who knows what that you'll never find out about, and then realize I am the bull in the china shop. I'm telling you these things directly. Forget about me. Think about all the other subreddits that exist.
Oh, he brought his YouTube account back.
I'm
excited to show you guys.
He brought it back. I'm sad that he stopped.
Everybody watch this video right now. Report everything.
Wait, that's the streamer he's killing, right? That's not him. I assume that's the streamer he's killing. Yeah, the Reddit moderator.
Thank you for watching.
Okay, I can't watch this full 9-minute video. Let's just finish.
No idea who they are, what they're doing, and every time somebody like me gives you a peek under the curtain, society gawks at the insanity of all of it.
You are a moderator in a subreddit. Why are you chasing down brand partnerships and collaborations, buddy?
I mean, you're an influencer with a platform.
Yeah, that's the point. You're not an influencer, brother. Like, I mean, I think you're trying to be one now, but like you're like the entire point of subreddit moderation is supposed to be, and I can't believe I'm repeating this again and again and again. You like whatever insert interest group thing that you are invested in so much that you volunteer to either make a community about it or you volunteer to keep that community clean so that discourse can thrive. Okay? That's the point. That's what it is. It's not about like monetizing it. Am I crazy? Like, what the fuck? The very fact that you were kicked off your pedestal by Reddit itself and instantly lost your moderation powers implies that, yeah, your position is supposed to be like a voluntary one and that you're not very pro-labor of you, brother, what are you talking about? This is not a labor rights situation. He has a job. And I'm gonna be honest with you, if he got fucking fired from his job for making this video, I probably would be understanding of that too. Okay? If I was a company and I had hired this man and he's now all over the fucking timeline, I'd be like, dude, you gotta go. What the fuck? You are bringing bad vibes to the business place already. And now on top of that, like, people are calling the company to be like, is the Reddit moderator there?
Why do you do it? You could say personal enrichment, but you don't strike me as somebody who's completely motivated by money. I could imagine you doing a brand deal or partnership, not for money, but just with a group that you think is cool for your community. Or maybe you just want to. And Reddit is a platform, like any other platform, and moderators are in charge of it. I know this is rare and nobody does this stuff. That's my entire point. Reddit as a platform is underutilized. So just like you might utilize your platform, why can't moderators? You brought up examples of conflicts of sacrosanct of a platform that is different from any other platforms where conflicts of interest exist. I guess for Reddit moderators, we're representing other people. We don't truly own the platform, so maybe it's more important for us to be unbiased compared to other platforms, I guess. But man, if we're worried about bias, I can promise you that there are way bigger fish to fry in terms of how biased moderators are allowed to be, that I'm not sure that brand deals for community events is really the biggest danger out there. But sure, it's something to look out for.
There are no qualifications to be a Reddit mod.
You're right. There aren't any qualifications. But maybe
Wait, his aura changed. His aura changed in response to Charlie's. Every time Charlie says something, he's like Gojo. He's basically the Gojo of Reddit. You see that? That's crazy. That's crazy. He's leveling up.
there aren't any qualifications, but maybe there should be. Maybe because there are no such qualifications, this is why we're seeing all the problems that we see. It seems
he's the Gojo being a fucking loser. Oh, that's awesome. Yes, I know his YouTube banner has Austin Show on it. Bro, this guy cannot be real, man. It's so funny that this fucking account, Yeet, is literally this guy. Like, not a one-to-one, like it's not the same person, but this guy is basically this guy with a different skin. And he's over here dunking on him. Dog, you are literally making fun of your future right now, okay? This is you. Both of them is Orbit. Both of them are in Destiny's community. And both of them are consistently fighting for Destiny's attention. And it's so funny that he is now clowning on this version of himself. Yeet doesn't have mod class solidarity. I agree. Messed up. What? The Orbiters... E4D.
We need to clean up our reputation, DGG. Everybody thinks that we harass people.
what's something undeniably good that we can do? Well, there is this new smaller streamer named Autistic Destiny, which is the same name as you. Ha 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 ha. We could raid her and give her a bunch of views and donations. Helping smaller streamers is good, right? Oh, like Make-A-Wish, but for smaller streamers. We'll make sure to send in NFL superstar and resident DGG or Tabor Snappening to give her even more support. Great job, DGG. Nobody could possibly be upset over this. Big streamer Destiny harasses and hate reads mentally ill and vulnerable smaller streamer. How could DGG do such a thing?
Yeah, famously, LSF is very...
Welcome back to Pod Save the World. I'm Tommy Vitor.
I'm Ben Rhodes.
Ben, we have a 5-alarm Pod Save the World fire. Did you see that Trump has threatened to slap a 200% tariff on all French wines?
I know, there goes the Bordeaux.
I thought of you.
I know. It's
Wither the Bordeaux.
Could finally make me keep my New Year's resolution to drink less.
Drink more beer? Oh,
yeah.
Drink more bourbon. Beer. Speaking of beer, I just got back from London. What a great city.
It's fantastic.
The pub culture is so fun. Just like sitting outside. It's cold as hell. People are ripping heaters, sitting outside. Actually, less smoking than I expected to see in London.
Yeah, it's down a little bit, but the drinking is still robust.
Seemed up.
So is the calorie count at this pub. Sunday roasts, those are fantastic. Nothing like tucking into like a giant pie of meat.
Oh yeah. I had a pie with like mashed and something else that I couldn't even do. Some egg like deep fried in a ball of meat or something like that. It was really good. Although I did get there, I turned on BBC News. I was like, I don't know, let's see what's on TV. Nigel Farage right in my grill with what's his name, Robert Jenrick, who just defected to the Reform side.
Coming in hot.
It was like, ugh, that guy.
Come on.
Although it was fun watching their press like actually kind of like take the piss out of them and ask like super shitty questions and kind of make fun of them a bit. I was like, where's that, guys? U.S. press corps?
There's no like Politico playbook, Nigel making things interesting.
Well, there's no like Lindell TV in the room. It's just like purely sick.
Give it a minute. Maybe they'll get a UK correspondent for Lindell TV.
Yeah, I guess there are a bunch of Murdoch rags in the room, but whatever. We got a lot to cover today, Ben. We're going to start with Greenland, which is the dumbest and yet potentially the most consequential international crisis in, I don't know, decades. Then we're going to talk about why Donald Trump told millions of Iranian protesters that he would rescue them and to go into the streets and to take over the government, and then did nothing when thousands of them were massacred. We'll help you guys understand the new Board of Peace. We'll help you fill out your applications if you want to apply. Just $1 billion, and I think the Common App, they probably accept that. And then we're going to explain some major developments about governance and the future of Syria, why Elon Musk's Grok AI tool has been banned in a number of countries, and then finally we are once again going to put our fate in the hands of our producer Michael, who's going to show us a video that we have not seen and he has seen, and risk cancellation. So that's exciting as always.
It's always the best.
And then Ben, you did our interview today. Tell us what we're going to hear.
Yes, I talked to Yusra Elbagir, who's the Sky News Africa correspondent. Yusra's been on before. She just covered the Ugandan elections, Tommy, and we've had Bobby Wine on. Both you and I have talked to him. Basically, we had another, not exactly or not even close to free and fair election. The internet was shut down. Yusra describes kind of war zone-like conditions on the ground, military out threatening people, the tallies being seemingly manipulated. Yusra was there for it all, so she kind of walks through what it was like to be there for that election, what it says about the direction of politics in Africa, like the rest of the world, where the strong men are kind of just not giving an inch, and it seems to be working for them. How do younger Ugandans, including the 70% of the country that's under 30, feel about it? What's next for Bobby Wine? And again, what does this mean for the broader African landscape? So very important to cover a story like that can get drowned in Greenland. So we should check it out.
Great. Really important story. Also, Bobby Wine's such a brave guy. For those who don't know, this guy was like a rock star.
Yeah.
And he decided to dedicate his life to politics, and he's been beaten. He's been locked up in his own house. I think he just had to escape his own house, right? Because the security forces were coming for him.
And the kind of Don Jr., Museveni, the president's kid, is like online tweeting, like threatening to kill him. I mean, it's pretty dark, but it's important.
Yeah, really important story. And great reporter, by the way.
She's very good. And she has an eye. She dives right into the story. She's like there. She was She interviewed Museveni. She's interviewed Bobby Wine. She was at the vote tally locations. She gets out and gets the story.
Your sister's a total badass too.
Yeah.
That's great.
We just sit in a room in LA and talk about it. So, yeah.
Speaking of which, Ben, next week, for those of you who are part of our Friend of the Pod subscriber community, you're going to hear Ben and I answer some questions from the Friends of the Pod Discord. So if you want to hear that, or if you want to submit a question, go to crooked.com/friends to join and become a friend of the pod. Or if you just want to support Crooked Media, you like the show, you like progressive independent media, becoming a subscriber is the single most helpful thing for us because it helps us reduce our dependence on these big tech platforms and connect directly with you. So again, that's crooked.com/friends. And of course, we'd love for you to also nurture our dependence on big tech platforms by subscribing to Pod Save the World on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts. And then, Ben, you have a big announcement for us today. Drum roll.
Big announcement. That was a drum roll for those not watching on YouTube. But after 4 years of work, my next book, All We Say, The Battle for American Identity, A History in 15 Speeches, is coming out in May. The pre-order links are live. You can hit it on Bookshop, you can hit it on Amazon. But essentially, just for this audience, this is where I'm announcing it because these are my people here. I wanted, after writing a book about the rise of authoritarianism, I sensed that the answers to that question that's gnawing on all of us, which is like, how the fuck did we get here 250 years into this experiment, lay in the past. And I spent 4 years looking at how to tell the story of the argument we've been having, essentially. The argument about what it means to be an American, who gets to decide that. We've been having that argument since our founding. And so I chose 15 speeches. This is not an anthology, though. This is meant to understand the thread of the arguments we've been having back since our founding. J.D. Vance has one answer. We kind of begin the prologue with J.D. Vance's
I was
answer.
just going to joke.
Yes.
How many Stephen Miller speeches did you choose?
I don't do a J.D. Vance speech, but he says recently he made this speech where he said America is not a nation founded on a creed.
Oh, right, yes.
The Declaration of Independence is not the right way of thinking about what it means to be American. And he basically gives the blood and soil argument, which is a kind of Christian nationalist argument. We are defined by a certain kind of people that founded this country, white Christians, and we're defined kind of by our use of power and American exceptionalism, right? And counter to that is obviously the story of multiracial democracy and a nation that protects rights and a nation that is enriched by welcoming people from other parts of the world. And those two stories, I kind of want to trace the argument between them throughout our history. I begin at the founding. Benjamin Franklin gave this extraordinary speech at the Constitutional Convention that was about compromise and about how the only way we can start this country is if we agree to disagree about important things. Well, that worked, but it didn't work because the things that we didn't agree about were things like slavery or who gets to be American or what is the basis of how power works in this country. And then I kind of follow those threads, and there's each chapter is not just about a speech, it's about the political movement and conditions that could produce that speech. And we have, the kind of strain that, most of us identify with, like the abolitionist strain, extraordinary people like Mariah Stewart and Frederick Douglass and Martin Luther King, but also then how they interacted with presidents like Abraham Lincoln and Franklin Roosevelt and ultimately our former boss, Barack Obama. That's one side of this argument.
And then you end with Biden's NATO press conference after the debate.
I know what you're thinking. He doesn't have no PhD there. But on the other side,
pretty hard delivery.
I have the Confederate. I've got the white supremacist arguments. I've got up through the kind of xenophobic nature of American populism, up through Ronald Reagan, and unfortunately, the book ends with Donald Trump. But the story doesn't end with Donald Trump. And that's actually kind of the important part here, is that we are living in the latest iteration of a competition that we've had since the beginning. And Trump makes a lot of sense if you read him in the context of American history, but so does the possibility that if people stand up and make a case and build a movement and persuade people, that we can take this in a different direction. And that's part of what I took away from this, Tommy. It's like, obviously, speeches are kind of the purest form of persuasion. Like you stand in front of an audience, you try to convince them of something. We stopped doing that for a lot of reasons, and I get into that, technology, social media, polarization. But actually, part of what's missing in the movement against Trump is, what is our unifying story? What do we think it means to be American? Like, how do we persuade our fellow citizens that we are going down a very, very dark path? So to me, I really hope people pick up this book. It was fun to write. There are amazing characters, there are amazing stories, there are amazing movements, amazing breadcrumbs that, again, make a lot of sense in terms of today, you like look at the past and you're like, oh, that seems familiar. Or that I can draw a direct line from this thing that happened to where we got to today. So I think that this story matters more than ever. It's very, even though it's a history book, it's very much about this moment. How did we get here and how do we get out of it? If you can pre-order this book,
do it.
It is hugely helpful.
Get some on the bestseller list.
Look, if you're gonna buy this book when it comes out, God bless you and I thank you. But it's not just a bestseller. It's like that way they're like, oh, we better print some more of these or get these to the bookshops, right? You can help launch this book so that it gets kind of up into the orbit in an attention economy where books have a hard time breaking through. I'm gonna be talking about it from time to time. I may even delve into the Substack verse.
Hell yeah.
To share thoughts on this, but also other things that I think are going on in the country, things maybe we don't get to talk about in this podcast about where the hell America is going and how we got here. So please keep your eye out. You can go today and pre-order All We Say on all the platforms where you support independent bookstores by doing it on Bookshop, or if you're a Prime addict, you can do it on Amazon. However you want to get it, please consider picking it up.
Ben's coming for Heather Cox Richardson.
Yes.
In this Substack. Jokes aside, I'm very proud of you. I can't believe that you write books. It seems impossible.
This one was hard.
To sit down for that long.
4 years of my life on this one.
And do that much work. Question for you. In 30 years, do you think the next Ben Rhodes will do a book on the top 15 political TikToks of all time?
Possibly. I mean,
is speechwriting a lost art? Do you think it's dead soon?
The last three are Reagan.
Okay.
Obama, Trump, right? And that was just that little snapshot alone was fascinating because, spoiler alert, but the Obama speech is a race speech. It's impossible to imagine a politician delivering that speech today. Like a 45-minute, brilliant meditation on multiracial democracy.
It was
and
covered
identity.
in depth too.
Yeah, that people
really
watched the whole speech, people read it, engaged, and actually that's part of the problem is we don't listen to each other. We don't make long arguments.
Not even a little bit.
TikTok version.
Well, that is very exciting. Yeah, please buy a copy, buy it early, and if you have a MAGA uncle, buy him one and then take it to his house, then burn it on his porch. Then you're both happy. Ben gets a sale.
What I like to think there needs to be some space for progressive patriotism here, not because we don't see clearly the bad parts of the story. And I have actually a native chief, Seneca chief, gave this extraordinary speech in the early 19th century that basically sounded like was delivered at a Black Lives Matter protest, right? So, but this is the only country we have, and if we don't win the argument, then it's going to be the worst version of itself. Whereas if it's the better version of itself, it can do a lot of good for people.
And we are not doing a lot of winning these days, so maybe everyone,
good segue.
Everyone could brush up a little bit. I think that would be helpful. It's very exciting. Please pre-order Ben's book. All right, so we're getting dark already, Ben. Let's start with Greenland. So when you guys hear this, Donald Trump will probably be in Davos. He'll probably be screaming at a group of random European leaders.
We'll be debating an emergency YouTube.
Yeah, because he really wants to steal Greenland from Denmark. So on Tuesday, the Prime Minister of Greenland told his constituents that they needed to start preparing for a possible invasion of Greenland. Prime Minister Jens Frederik Nielsen said, quote, "It's not likely there will be a military conflict, but it can't be ruled out." A little ominous. Trump's commentary on the subject was a little less serious and sober. He posted an AI-generated image of himself planting an American flag in the ground next to a sign that said Greenland, U.S. territory established 2026. He posted a screenshot of a text from French President Emmanuel Macron, where Macron said, "I do not understand what you are doing on Greenland." I don't either. He also posted a screenshot of a new sycophantic, pathetic text from NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte. He later attacked the UK over an unrelated issue. So this past weekend, Ben, Trump sent a text to the Prime Minister of Norway that said the following, quote, "Dear Jonas, considering your country decided not to give me the Nobel Peace Prize for having stopped 8 wars plus, I no longer feel an obligation to think purely of peace. The world is not secure unless we have complete and total control of Greenland. Thank you, President DJT." I cut a bunch of even crazier shit because it was just too long. So Ben, this Greenland obsession went from being something that I think a lot of people treated like a joke to a genuine crisis that is threatening to destroy NATO and the global order. Trump himself said there's no going back at this point. In past episodes, we've explained in more depth why Trump might want Greenland. The quick and dirty is the melting Arctic is opening up shipping routes. There's mineral deposits, oil and gas. Then there's this big stupid fucking ego, and he wants to expand the size of the United States. But this most recent temper tantrum seems to have stemmed from a misunderstanding. So basically, a few European countries recently sent a tiny number of troops to Greenland for military exercises. The Financial Times said it was 1 British soldier, 2 Finns, a few dozen Danish, German, and French troops. That's all we're talking about. Those countries thought this would be like they would show Trump that they were taking his Arctic security concerns seriously. He interpreted it as defiance or an affront to him, so he announced tariffs on Denmark, Norway, Sweden, France, Germany, the UK, until we get control of Greenland. French President Emmanuel Macron and Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney responded to Trump during their speeches at the World Economic Forum in Davos on Tuesday. Here's a bit of what they said. Carney is first, Macron is second.
We knew the story of the international rules-based order was partially false, that the strongest would exempt themselves when convenient, that trade rules were enforced asymmetrically. And we knew that international law applied with varying rigor depending on the identity of the accused or the victim. This fiction was useful, and American hegemony in particular helped provide public goods. This bargain no longer works. Let me be direct. We are in the midst of a rupture, not a transition.
It will a shift towards a world without rules, where international law is trampled underfoot. Cooperation gives way to relentless competition. Competition from the United States of America through trade agreements that undermine our export interests, demand maximum concessions, and openly aim to weaken and subordinate Europe, combined with an endless accumulation of new tariffs that are fundamentally unacceptable, even more so when they are used as leverage against territorial sovereignty.
This is all very serious. For you not watching on YouTube, Macron's wearing sunglasses because he has I think he got a pink eye or something.
But it's not just wearing sunglasses. It's the blue. Why those sunglasses? It's like if Joe Biden took mushrooms and bought a new pair of aviators that happened to be mirror blue.
It looks like his AI.
Yeah. We gotta laugh at something, man.
It's so funny.
We gotta laugh at something.
Sorry, everybody. So, Ben, the S&P is down 2% on Tuesday, so maybe the business world is taking this more seriously than we are right now. That said, the response from Europe is pretty feckless. It's like a stern speech from Macron with sunglasses. At least Carney's pretty serious looking. Okay, we're gonna try to get it together. But if you were at Davos,
yes,
and you were at a strategy session for a bunch of European leaders, what are we telling them to do at this point?
So, look, first of all, I think part of what's happening here is the Greenland thing. It's serious. It's deadly serious. He keeps coming back to it. He clearly means it. It's not just a troll. He clearly wants to conquer Greenland.
Yeah,
and we've been through those reasons. But the other thing is it also can't be separated from where we're 1 year into the Trump administration. He just kidnapped the president of Venezuela, whatever you think about that guy, right? He's just invaded Minneapolis. He's just tried to arrest the head of the Federal Reserve. This guy is out of control, right?
Yes.
And to pivot to the leaders here and the people at Davos, Carney gets up there and he says, it looks like the rules-based order is ending. It's over. It is fucked. The music has stopped. It doesn't exist anymore. Trump's re-election was the end of that. These guys, and they're almost all guys, have been living through this year where they've basically mimicked all the tactics of all the capitulators, and we've talked about this, the law firms, the universities. Yep. If we can just kiss his ass hard enough, or flatter him hard enough, or the British give him
or appease him long
parade,
enough.
Or Mark Rutte calls him daddy, giving us a spanking in a text.
Which actually happened, by the way.
That's actually a thing that happened in the world, right? This doesn't work. And in fact, like any bully, the more you give him your lunch money, the more he's gonna come back for something else. And by the way, it's not the fucking Nobel Peace Prize. If they gave him the Nobel Peace Prize, he'd demand the Eiffel Tower. If they don't stand up to him, and I think they finally figured this out, if they don't stand up to him, he's going to take Greenland. The status quo, we should all just name this, absent something changing, he will try to take Greenland in some fashion, which will shatter NATO and usher in this era of like imperial conquest and competition, right?
And Greenland might not be last. I mean, he also put out an AI image that had Canada marked with a U.S. flag. You know,
and why not? We have to take this stuff all seriously and literally, to use an early Trump-ism. But look, what could they do? They need to. Everybody needs, by the way, to just now we have to push back. This guy is clearly out of control. He's clearly the worst version of himself. If I'm the Europeans, I'm sending actual troops to Greenland, right? Like, show that there is a military commitment to defend this territory. I would be anteing up the tariffs, right? I would be threatening to essentially invoke the coercion principle in the EU, right? That this is the idea that if you were trying to coerce the EU territorially, which is exactly what he's trying to do, that you're essentially going to rug pull them from European markets, right?
Yeah, basically that could cut off the United States companies, including like service providers, tech companies, from the entire 500 million person European market. That is it's often described as like a bazooka. Well, it's like a massive tool that would send a message.
And they don't have to necessarily use it, but if you start to threaten these things, or you start to kind of pull from U.S. investments, by the way, like there would be, some economic costs like we saw today. I would much rather there be some market disruption than the U.S. through this appeasement strategy, the Europeans then invades and takes Greenland and breaks NATO. And by the way, people want to say like, oh, are you siding with the Europeans? No, as an American, I don't want us to do that. Like, I would like this president to be stopped. Same thing with the Republicans in Congress, who like to go on like codels to Denmark and reassure them. Don't reassure them. Get to fucking work drafting a resolution.
You can't reassure them. You have no power.
Well, try to assert power, right? And Trump may try to annoy you, but everybody needs to be pushing back because he's made it clear that he's not going to stop.
Yeah, and just the Europeans should understand that this is not popular. Like, there's a CNN poll. 75% of U.S. voters oppose the U.S. taking Greenland. Quinnipiac had a poll, 55% oppose us buying Greenland, 90% oppose the United States taking it by force. Also, the guy's lying, right? Like, Trump keeps saying, oh, the Chinese are all over the Arctic. No, the former head of NATO said he hasn't seen a Chinese naval ship there in a decade. Like, the Russians are there, sure, but destroying NATO is the greatest thing you could do to Putin. Like,
that's much better than anything else.
His oligarchs are laughing. I'm with you on like the anti-coercion tool. There needs to be some sort of massive economic cost. It could be tariffs, it could be the coercion tool, and it's got to be now. And like Trump actually does respond to pain. If the market's dipped 10%, 20%.
And if it gets in the bond markets, especially.
And if his donors started calling him, like, that's when he backs off. Also, Ben, I would quickly want to point out, Trump pretends not to care about the elites and the establishment. He's currently leading the largest ever delegation to Davos in presidential history. No one cares more about the fucking elite opinion than he does. It actually would matter.
Well, yeah, Bill Clinton went to Davos. George W. Bush never went to Davos. Barack Obama never went to Davos, right? So this guy runs against elites, and he just can't wait to get to Davos.
Obsessed with them.
Every single one of his cabinet secretaries seems to be there. But
give the New York Times a 3-hour interview the other week, right?
Yeah,
like,
he's obsessed with these people. But the core point is, you're not going to charm him or persuade him, right? The charm is these sycophantic texts and praise. I mean, the Mark Rutte thing, we should just spend a minute on this clown, right? NATO needs to toss that guy overboard. Not that they will, but I will defend your policies on Ukraine on television, he's saying. Like, policies that run directly counter to what NATO wants, or the rest of NATO wants. But like, they've tried that. You need leverage. Like, not persuasion, not charm. You need to show you've got skin in the game. I would say one of the reasons the European leaders don't do it, right, is that they feel politically weak. Like, their approval ratings are in the shitter.
Yeah.
I would say maybe one of the reasons why your approval ratings are in the shitter is because you look weak, right?
Toughen up.
Like, toughen up. Yep. You might actually...
What a day. A little quick recap. Little thoughts, opinions. I'm hitting the wrong buttons. Great morning. Database got going. We're on to making the API fetchers. Shout out to Claude for getting that going quick. Today, we are still dropping content from our last couple drops. We will be seeing, and again, we're stretching it. We're getting as much as we can out of the resource. We're trying to maximize. We almost did 3 hours. Shout out to that. Means that we were live at almost exactly 7. Great job. Shout out to that. We're gonna try to do this more often. The goal is for this to start holding me more accountable. That's why we're going live when we're in the studio, documenting what we're doing in the studio. Just trying to make that daily progress over perfection. That's what we're trying to preach over here. So yeah, those that comment about my breathing, you saw me on that treadmill. I know it wasn't. I don't even consider that like a full-on workout. To me, that's just getting active, getting things started. But just trying to make progress in as many different avenues each day as I can. But we got the mile in on the treadmill in exactly 20 minutes. Yesterday there was 10 seconds of runoff, so we did that. We did an incline. I need to start tracking the elevation I do for those. I need to write these down. These need to be written down. Good thing I'm on camera. You know what we can also do though? See, we're figuring shit out. We're just figuring everything out one day at a time. All right, morning recap for January 21st. We were able to get a mile in. We got the database foundation built. 2 days in a row, which is great. We've been trying to breathe out our nose a little bit more. We got our journaling in. We're on to the API fetcher. We woke up at 6:45. Yeah, and we got on stream, which was huge, which is good. Because, again, this is for accountability. And we're trying to just show that progress in action each and every day. So, thank you guys for being here. Let me go ahead and finish with a prayer. Dear God, thank you for today. Thank you for just waking me up and putting me into action from first light. Thank you for another day and all this energy. Thank you for reflection. Thank you for my family. Thank you for all those that will hear my voice. I just pray that I'm able to continue to diminish myself and do right by the people in this world and the people I interact with. I pray that I'm able to be a blessing to those in my ecosystem. Please spare us traveling grace for today as me and my family travel from Columbus to Cincinnati. I pray that all my mistakes can be forgiven, and I pray that I'm able to find forgiveness for others. And I just continue to ask that you just help me each and every day to be a little bit better. Thank you for this day, and thank you for always blessing the road in front of us as you bless the one that we leave behind. In your holy name and by your Son, Jesus Christ, I pray. Amen.